Moving on now with our pickup items, it is time that we actually have a grenade that we can throw as soon as we have picked up our crate of grenades. Okay, so to do that, open up our models folder because we'll turn this into a prefab later, but before we can do that, let's import the models and then right click and create another folder and call it grenades or grenade. Alright, now in the asset files that come with this V2C course, you can take the normal map, the color map, and the FBX file and then drop them on top of the grenade, and it will take a second to import. Now we've already done this before. Open up the FBX file and then hit generate collider so that we can have collision in the world, and then hit apply. We might look at the scaling later because the grenade is pretty small. Alright, as for the materials, I have already applied a couple of them, and this actually comes, it finds the grenade material already because it has the same name. However, it doesn't find the normal by itself. But before I show you the normal that we already have applied for you, there's also a method to make normal maps or bump maps with Unity itself if you don't have them. So to do that, just click the texture here and then duplicate it, and of course it will import again, so that takes a little second, and it will create another one, and then with this one you can say generate bump map. Now the bumpiness could be a little higher than this. As soon as you click apply, Unity will turn this into a normal map. Now it's not as good as the one that I have applied that you can see here, but at least it is a normal map. So if I were to go back into my material and change this to a bumped diffuse, I can drag the just generate a normal on top of it, and as you can see, it looks pretty nice. I mean, it has a little bumpiness there. It's not as extreme as the one that I'm already giving you, but as you can see, it has some nice effects to it. If I change it to the one that I have, you can see that the squares are more clear, and of course that is what you want with the grenade, unless if it's a very old grenade you can use the other one. Yeah, I like both of them pretty good, but let's go with the one I already supplied for you. Okay, so that's the way to make normal maps if you don't have them. Now, one thing I don't understand is why Unity calls it generate bump map, because it generates a normal map. If you would ask any other 3D guy or 3D artist what a bump map looks like, then they'll say it's a grayscale image, because in most 3D applications that's what it is. But in this case, Unity uses normal maps to create bump maps. So that's quite unusual, but you know, it works either way, works fine. Alright, let's drag our grenade onto the scene. As you can see, it's very, very small. If I look at this from the side, it is barely even visible compared to the size of our character. So let me delete this one and change our import settings. Right now it's scale factor 0.01, so let's change it to 0.1. Hit apply. Let's see how big it is now when I drag it onto the scene. That's a lot better already. I still think it's a little small, so let me change the scale one more time to, for example, 0.2, and then hit apply, and that will do the trick. That's pretty big, you know, for a game, but we want to have a clear view of it right now, and I think this works just fine. And we can now use this one as a prefab. So let's open up our prefabs folder and then go to assets, create another prefab. Now drag the grenade in it. Hold on, before we drag it in it, let's add some physics. The rigid body, as you would probably expect, it will say it will lose a prefab connection. We don't care, it's fine. Then drag the grenade on top of the new prefab and call this prefab grenade. Perfect. Now we can delete the one in the scene and we can use this grenade in scripting. Alright, moving on. Let's get to, we now have the grenade that we can throw. We already have the collision with the crate, so all we need to do is come up with a clever method to make sure that the crate gives us a couple of ammunition to throw around with. So let's move on.